watching Good Morning San Diego.
Our next guest escaped a communist regime to come to the United States, living that American dream. They call her a modern-day Anne Frank, and her name is Aura Imbarus, and she's the author of a new book. It's called Out of Transylvania Night, Out of the Transylvania. Good morning.
Good morning.
So yeah, so I guess what they're doing is comparing you to Anne Frank, and of course Anne Frank, hid from an oppressive regime,
right,
and then ended up writing a book. Tell us your story. What happened? This is from Romania.
Yes.
In Transylvania, which a lot of people think is a fake place.
No, it's not. Actually, it's real.
Yeah.
Transylvania means Trans-Silva, which is actually, beyond the forest. So it's a real place. It's a region in Romania. I was born in Transylvania in Sibiu. Sibiu was cultural capital of Europe in 2007, and it was considered by Forbes the 8th most idyllic place, to live in Europe. I grew up in Transylvania, the land of Dracula, and surrounded by myth and legends. My family actually came from Greece, settled down in Romania. Over there, they mixed and matched with Hungarians and Germans and Romanians. And I grew up during the communist regime. That was not a pretty time. Obviously,
that was Ceausescu?
Yes, during Ceausescu's regime. I lived there.
And he was a brutal dictator. Tell us what happened. Like, what was your life like? You actually had to hide in your house with atrocities happening outside your door.
Then just think that, your mail is going to be checked, your phone is going to be bugged. The borders were closed, so you were not able to escape. You would sit in the morning, in a line, waiting, hoping that probably you are going to find, a loaf of bread, milk. The food was rationed, by the Ceausescu regime, in 1985, actually.
Rationing of food?
Yes. Even if we had a lot of production, but, we were exporting, all our goods, because he wanted to pay the debt, for, all the money he borrowed from the Western, countries. So Romania was, dealing with a harsh time. 1 out of 3 Romanians, was working for the Securitate, so was an informant for the Securitate. And growing up during those years was not, pretty. My family was blacklisted because my dad didn't want to join the communist regime. And more than that, my uncles, they crossed the borders illegally. So they are going to go and talk against the regime, on Voice of America and BBC and Radio Free Europe. So now, all of a sudden, my dad was picked up in the middle of the night, and he was taken to Securitate, where he was questioned on a weekly basis.
So you basically, you didn't have a life. I mean, you were hiding your entire life, and you were being persecuted. And how old were you when you finally escaped, and how did you get out of there?
Well, I was living in Romania during the communist regime and until 1989 when we had the Romanian Revolution. And I left, I won the green card lottery, which actually it's a targeted immigration. I applied in 1996 for 1997. I won the green card lottery out of 8 million applicants. Wow. And I came to the United States.
And your life here?
It's definitely changed, I'm pursuing the American dream.
Yeah.
I have an amazing, life in the United States. My family, friends are here. My husband is here. And, it's just a different state of mind. The freedom is here. We don't have to hide. We don't have to escape. We live in a democratic country, so it's just an amazing, journey to begin with.
All right. Well, thank you for coming in and talking. What a fascinating story. We could just talk for hours about this, and the book is called Out of the Transylvania Night, and it's by Aura Imbarus. And I noticed that just before I let you go, I noticed that you have a...
Nadia Comaneci.
Nadia Comaneci.
She is my model.
The most famous Romanian.
I grew up with her. Yes, I grew up with her, and she's a huge endorser of my book. Yeah. Nadia Comaneci. Yes, and we will have actually, the book, it's all over in the stores, and we are going to have a huge book signing tomorrow at the Oceanside from 1 to 4, so you're more than welcome to come.
Do you know which store it is?
It's Barnes & Noble's, Oceanside.
Barnes & Noble's in Oceanside, and you will be there. Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much for having me.
For escaping that horrible situation over there. And here it is, the information on the screen. It was this Saturday?
Yes,
Barnes & Noble's in Oceanside. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Welcome to America.
Thank you.
Enjoy yourself. All right.